nicotine and tobacco use have been a problem for many years. So in our project, we're studying the differences between vaping and cigarettes. And so for cigarettes, over 200 toxins are in each individual cigarette. There are 5 million deaths yearly. 69% of the users also want to quit, but they have a harder time quitting than people who are using vapes. And over nearly $1,000 are spent each year on cigarettes. For vaping, there's an unknown amount of chemicals that are in a vape, but there are still far less amounts of chemicals than there are in a cigarette. There's no passive smoking. 52% of the users want to quit and are more likely to quit than people using cigarettes. And less money is used each year. For the trends of the product's use, we're focusing on high schoolers and middle schoolers. So teens who vape in high school will tend to use cigarettes when they're older, and more than 2 million middle and high schoolers users reported using an e-cigarette or a vape. 1 in 4 high school seniors say that they use a vape in the last month, and organizations like the Truth Project help inform teens and young adults about the side effects of vaping, where they can be located on Instagram, Facebook, and like TVs and anything that they can reach young adults and teens at. Also, teens are likely to use the products far more than adults, and as the years go on, the older you get, the more likely you are to use a cigarette, and the chances increase by 5% that the cigarettes might be preferred. Nicotine is also the most common substance used, but lately the specifically ones that are being used are the flavored vapes, and they can be seen most used in 12th grade. So the side effects of smoking a cigarette, there's a lot of them, and it's 10 times worse than smoking a vape right now, as the doctors and researchers know. So the side effects of smoking a cigarette can impact every system of your body, and it can cause lung cancer. It weakens the heart and can lead to heart attacks and heart disease. It causes the bones to become brittle and weak, increases the risk of having a stroke at least 50%, and can cause a lot less oxygen to get to your skin. Also, if you are a female smoking, it also can increase the chances of you having birth defects when you do have a child, and it can lead to miscarriage, premature birth, and stillbirth, and even illnesses for the child. So the side effects of vaping, there's a lot more that they have seen lately, and it can cause brain fog, dizziness, anxiety, and learning and mood disorders. So it also can cause coughing, wheezing, lung scarring, and fluid in the lungs, which can put people in the hospital, and there are at least 8 people who have died in the last couple years from vaping. They also can cause blurry vision. It can cause irritation in the eyes, and can harm the immune system and cause your immune system to weaken, which is more likely you're more prone to illnesses than other people who will not vape or smoke. It increases your blood pressure, and with increasing your blood pressure, it'll increase the adrenaline. And also, it increases your heart rate, which also can lead to a heart attack and different cardiovascular problems in the long run in the future. So, it also can cause stomach problems. It can cause nausea, vomiting, and stomach pain, and cause an appetite loss and cause you to lose a lot of weight as well. And it also can affect your blood in the body. And there's just a lot more proven things right now about vaping. But in the long run, cigarette smoking does affect your body 10 times more than it would if you were vaping. So the next one we're talking about is we're comparing tobacco and vaping and just seeing the differences between if it's worse or better. And so there are some benefits to vaping, like how vaping is odorless, and while cigarettes do cause a smell and can leave a yellow gunk around and just not be as delightful as someone who is vaping. Also, like I said before, smoking a cigarette does damage every organ in your body, so it causes a lot more health problems, a lot more problems for the future, and can affect your whole entire life. And like you might get asthma, COPD, and things like that. Also, people who switch from smoking to vaping realize that there are a lot more filters in vaping rather than the normal cigarettes, which cause a lot less toxins to get through. Vaping can cause less damage to the body, but doctors and researchers are still learning more about that, and since it's such a new thing in the world, they're still trying to figure out what all harm it does cause. It is harder to quit smoking cigarettes rather than quit vaping. Vaping, it lasts like 3 to 7 days, and then the withdrawals will go through. But cigarettes can cause a lot more problems in the long run while trying to quit too. Vaping releases less chemicals in your body compared to cigarettes, as I said before. And doctors also saw a difference between people who smoked cigarettes and people who were using e-cigarettes, and they saw a huge difference when people switched over to vapes too as well. So right now they say that vaping is better than using tobacco because of all the toxins and the chemicals that are entering your body, but the likelihood of saying that vaping is not harmful is pretty inaccurate, and it can still cause a lot of problems in the long run and in the future for your health.
All right. So the purpose of our presentation is to persuade people to quit using nicotine or tobacco products. We believe that the topic is appropriate for college-age students as vapes and other forms of nicotine are becoming popular among people around our age. Since nicotine is effective, or addictive, I should say, we've seen it affect some of our friends, and we like to see our friends healthy, so it kind of sucks just seeing them struggle to breathe and constantly hit these vapes. Although there are benefits to vaping, such as getting cigarette users to quit, we believe that there's still too many negative aspects to vaping. So vaping has been the cool new thing to do for a few years now. Vaping can be great for those trying to quit cigarettes or other tobacco products, but we still don't know the harm that these products can cause. I mean, they're pretty new to the market, so we won't know until further down the road. There are over 200 toxins in cigarettes, so vaping can lead to cigarette usage, so obviously we don't want to see our friends being affected by the cigarettes as well either. There's not really enough research that's been to know how many toxins there are in vapes yet, but it's definitely far less amount than cigarettes. As times have changed, so has the use of nicotine. This toxic chemical is addictive and has led to the surge in the use of vape devices rather than cigarettes. Vaping is more of a direct nicotine into the blood flow than cigarettes. Cigarettes are just more toxins along with the nicotine. Although vaping may be better than cigarettes, harm is still done to the body. It has been noted that vaping can lead to asthma, lung scarring, organ damage, and even still possibly cancer. Additionally, these vapes have been known to occasionally explode. So people have them in their pockets and then just randomly explode, which obviously causes harm to the user. If we can't find a good solution to nicotine addiction apart from vapes, then we see our peers' health being affected. The possible solution to vaping would be for our friends to start using nicotine pouches instead of vapes. I'm still not a huge fan of that, but it's still better than vaping in my opinion. There's far less health risks when using nicotine pouches, such as like Zyn or something. But, asking for college-age students to stop using nicotine is almost an impossible thing to do. So pouches would be better than the vapes. Pouches can also still lead to a risk of addiction and possible teeth or gum damage, which, not great either, but it's still, a lot less risks than using vape. So according to WebMD, oral nicotine pouches are infinitely better than vapes. Although we would just like to see our friends and peers quit using nicotine overall, we're just focused on them stopping their usage of vapes for now. If they must continue to use nicotine, we feel that pouches would be the safest option. Our goal is for everyone to hear this and, take into serious consideration to stop using vapes. And then just to reiterate, especially, listen up to those of you that do vape. Vaping can lead to asthma, lung scarring, organ damage, and still even possibly cancer. Thank you for listening to our presentation on why vaping isn't any good for those of you who use it.